This is Hacking the Afterlife podcast with Jennifer Schaefer. Jennifer,
Heard.
how are you?
I'm a little bit moody, apparently.
Feeling a little bit, sometimes is Mercury going somewhere? I don't know. What is that? Reverse, retrograde, upgrade, retro.
So
What?
I have just realized, like, I've got teary-eyed this morning because it's my daughter's birthday. She turns 19 tomorrow, along with Luana.
Happy birthday to them. Go ahead.
And I every year since she was a baby, practice since she was like 3 years old, I have bought her a donut and we put a candle in it. And we bring it into her room. It's just expected. So I actually told her roommate, Venmoed her, said, "Can you please give her a donut?" I started crying as I'm texting her roommate to make sure that this happens. I start crying over this. I'm like, "What is wrong with you, Jennifer?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is the first time I won't be with her on her birthday. It's the first Mother's Day I won't be with her because she's at Cal Poly SLO." And believe me, she's living her best life. She has like frat parties all lined up. She has great girlfriends that are so excited to celebrate her. Even if I went up there, she wouldn't have time for me. Right?
Yeah, but you still want to get that virtual donut in her lap.
Going to, and the roommate's going to get it, but I'm also going to get a donut because my dear friend Sandy Hassel, I was talking to, she goes, you have a party for her, even though she's not there. She goes, "That's what I do with Eddie, her son."
Oh, that's sweet.
I'm like,
Okay, I like that. So what Jennifer's saying, if your loved one's not even on the planet, have a birthday for them. So I thought today is a birthday celebration for Luana. Her
yeah,
birthday was tomorrow, and maybe if she wants to, we can talk about that.
they're just laughing at me. Then they're like, "Your daughter's still here. Okay, you'll talk to her 10 times tomorrow, you know?" Um, yeah,
Well, I
that's
got to tell you a birthday story really quick. Nino Cerruti, the really fantastic Italian clothing designer, I met him during the Cannes Film Festival many years ago, and we became pals. And so I used to go visit him in Paris. And whenever you were with Nino Cerruti, who was like a big deal in Paris, everybody, the waiters, everyone would come by, gather around his table. And one day, the lights went down and a cake was wheeled out, this giant cake with sparklers. And I was like, I didn't know it was Nino's birthday. That's so wild. And everyone in the restaurant got up and sang happy birthday, and the cake was delivered to me. That was
oh
just,
my,
he was
that was just
pulling a prank on me. And so he used to do that. And so then I got him back because I would pull the same prank on him where, we were at a big restaurant. They bring out, then I told, the whole restaurant, it's Nino's birthday. Please do this thing. Anyway, so birthdays could be really fun. I would think both on this side or the flip side.
I agree. I'm a huge birthday person. Anybody that knows me, my friends are making fun of me already. They're like, "Should we be celebrating your birthday right now? Because it is July. It's in July,
Hello, it's coming up fast.
you
All right,
know."
so Luana, let's ask you. And by the way, Luana, our friend on the flip side, who moderates our class, who passed away in 1996, but who brought me and Jennifer together and has been more in my life now than she was then. So, Luana, the
Yeah.
floor is yours. Happy birthday to you, dear.
And did you shave off your goatee? No, you still
Oh
have it.
no, it's just a light. Every now and then I got to get the pizza out of there.
Look like you're clean shaven and your hair cut and everything. You look
It's the filter.
filter. Okay, hold on. It's Blake's birthday tomorrow. More stuff.
More notifications. So,
Okay.
Luana, the floor is yours. Do you want to talk about your birthday or how we can celebrate it, or what do you want to talk about?
I'd like to say that we all get numerous amounts of birthdays. I'm like thousands, she's like trillions. If you think about you and your souls elsewhere, right? Past, present, future lives, which I cannot prove. There's that.
You don't have to. It's fine. We understand what you're talking about. So, Luana's saying all of your birthdays, you celebrate all of them. You can imagine if you were born in France in 1472, there was that day, and now here you are
Right.
celebrating
So
this.
it,
Go
so
ahead.
I'm like, what's the point of that? She goes, you should be celebrating every day that you're alive.
It's true. It's true.
Don't
So,
wait. Don't wait for birthdays. Celebrate each other. Don't wait for birthdays. Go see that friend you haven't seen. Go listen, go to that concert. Go listen to that song that you've been wanting to listen to, or watch the movie that you've been wanting to watch. Stop wasting time thinking about birthdays when you could be celebrating all along.
well, I must say, Luana, you were really adept at birthday gifts. You would find the perfect gift to give somebody because it was something about them. Now, this is a gift
A
that
typewriter.
a typewriter that she gifted a friend of mine who then gifted it back to me after she passed. But this was the perfect gift for him because he wanted to become a writer. And I don't know where she found it. I have no idea. It's a bookend. Anyway,
So
but you
sweet.
know, those kinds of that's the kind of thinking she would do. So just talk about that a little bit, Luana. Why I'm going to ask why were you so good at that? But what's a way that other people can be good at that?
I feel like she's what I feel like is coming from her. She always knew um, how to make people feel better, or how to help them with whatever they were doing. So, like you said, with the writing or whatever. Give me a second. She just said I took an interest in the person.
Well, I've talked about it
That's
before.
silly. She goes, it doesn't have to be that expensive. She goes, she's showing me the donut. Like the fact that I would get my daughter a donut my son, they just expected it. So like, and then my husband, and they're just like, if I never missed, like you can't miss a year. And like, so just over that, I was crying out. That's not expensive. It's a donut, but it means the world to them. That means the world to them. And even with their friends, we would go get them donuts for breakfast. That was it doesn't have to be. And she showed me like that little typewriter didn't cost that much. That was just like a 99-cent thing, she's saying. But she goes, it meant the world. And it's something that you're never going to forget. You're creating memories, and memories don't cost anything.
Beautifully said. So let me ask you about your friends, because certainly this class has got quite a few of them. And I'm thinking of your friends on this day, people like Chuck, Charles
They've been
Grodin.
celebrating for days now, she says.
They've been celebrating for days. I'm thinking of someone like Michael Goff, who played Batman's butler. There's a picture of you and him. Uh,
Oh,
and behind that's a picture of you and Vic Ramos. These are people that you were very close to in your life. Of course, you know, we met like already later on in life, but these were your close friends. So they're over there on the flip side. So let me just ask, you know, do they have anything they want to say, or what's that about?
I just asked her, like, you guys do celebrate birthdays, right? And she's like, we do. We do celebrate. But she says that, oh, she says that we get to celebrate with the love. And then, oh, she just showed me that Coco movie. We get to celebrate our birthdays with the love that comes from this side of the planet, like from this dimension. They get to, yeah, that's like they get to yummy it up over there, right? She goes,
Right.
that's the most incredible gift to give somebody on the flip side is your love to them and celebrating them and honoring them on their birthdays, because that's what they get to feel. They get to feel all that love. And she's like, and it's nothing that can be described here, the love that she gets over there.
So
um
along those lines, because this topic has come up in our Quora forum, Hacking the Afterlife,
mhm.
the idea that you are not only Luana, but you're also the person who you were in a previous lifetime. Do friends from the previous lifetime,
All of them.
all of them, they all show up? When they show up, do they show up in the visual manifestation of who they were in that previous lifetime, or you just recognize them? How does that work?
And she goes, that takes a costume party to a whole new level. Hold on. um she's like, all the people that are with me right now I've been with before. And so Coming as You Are party takes it just to a whole different level.
Very good. I mentioned Charles Grodin. There's a filmmaker that's making a documentary about him, and I just heard the other day that quite a few other celebrities that are hard to get showed up because they wanted to be part of Chuck's movie. Story of his life, Elaine May, Steve Martin. Is there any thought about that, Chuck, of your awareness of that? Someone's making a movie about you.
He's like, yes, I put it in their heads too.
and
And
did
they're
they,
forced to think about me constantly. Hold on. He's like, no, they did that on their, he's like, there's enough footage out there to make a movie, as you know. Um, and I just heard Bill saying, you finally made a movie with me.
that's true. Bill Paxton,
Yeah.
after talking to him on the flip side, finally we got to work together. We were supposed to work together back when our careers started, but his went off into the stratosphere. But anyway, and so that's what he's referring to. Chuck, we went to see a movie that you starred in called, it's directed by Elaine May, and it's called The Heartbreak Kid. And the print had to be flown in from London because they had no prints in the United States. And so at the Aero Theater last week, sold out. People were screaming with laughter, rolling in the aisles, crying with laughter at everything you did in that film. And I wrote to Elaine May and I sent her pictures of the screening. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are about that.
It's like, we're the ones tickling everybody to laugh. We were there. Um, he said the ending could have been a little different. Oh,
Please talk about that a little bit. I'll tell Jennifer what you mean in a second because
I think he just wanted it to last longer.
she doesn't know the movie. She doesn't know the last line of the movie. I do. So, Chuck, do you want to put it in her mind what the last visual image? I know that scene could have gone on more, but do you want to give her?
It felt like it was like kind of like what you say, not here or here, but not here, or
Not gone, just not here.
yeah.
It's a very whimsical moment. And what's interesting about the movie, and everybody in my family that saw it, who miss you, he's the godfather of my kids. They all said the same thing. The movie is so much like Chuck, the way he was, sort of a little bit OCD, a little bit, Larry David, like, I don't want to touch that, or why are you touching me? That kind of thing. He's hilarious throughout the movie. But at the very end of the film, there's a moment when he's sitting on a couch. And of course, Elaine May cut it this way because it was all improvised. I mean, this part. And he's sitting on a couch with a 10-year-old boy. And he's looking at him like, because no one's talking to him. No one likes him in the movie. But so he has no one to talk to at his wedding. Sybil Shepherd is off with somebody else. So he's sitting with this 10-year-old boy and he says, so how old are you? And the kid goes, I'm 10. And Chuck looks off in the distance whimsically and says, I was 10 once. And that's how the movie ends. But the idea that the self-reflection that
Yeah, I felt him and I felt like a ghost of him, but I didn't know that was it. I was thinking it was love, not something like that.
so, but I'm just saying it's right on the money. The movie has a sort of open-ended thing of like what's going to happen next. Anyway, Elaine May's 90. Anything you want to say to Elaine May? I'm sorry to like jump in and ask you for questions like that, but
No, she's a tough one. She's a tough cookie. She's like, she can be 105 before she gets up here.
Her daughter is in Succession, by the way.
Which one?
Elaine May's daughter. Yeah, she plays like the executive, one of the older executives at
The attorney?
Yeah, she gets not Jerry, but she gets
Oh, okay.
let go recently or fired. They fired her over the phone or fax fired her, something like that.
Yeah, that feels like her. Huh.
So, and she looks just like Elaine. It's a very unusual thing. Anyway, so Chuck, I appreciate that. I just wanted to mention that I heard the other day about them finishing up your movie and getting interviews with people they never thought they'd be able to get. So we're looking forward.
You guys don't worry. Are you saying it to me or to?
What's he saying? Don't worry, I won't be cut out.
No, no, no. He said, "Don't worry, we're taking care of your girl, Luana, for her birthday." And he said, and then I'm like, "Well, what?" And then it felt my daughter, and he's like, "Don't worry, we're gonna make sure she doesn't do too much at frat parties."
That's great, Chuck. We really appreciate that. All right, Lou, anybody else on your birthday? We're celebrating May 12th. I won't say what the year was because you used to hide that from me. But what any of your other pals that you want to talk about or
She says she's almost like the same. She's half of like, so however long she passed away, which was 1996.
six?
So however many years, she's like, I'll take that age. I'll take-
Well, we did ask about this once before, which was them celebrating their day, their birthday on the flip side, meaning
Right.
the day that you arrived there. People celebrate, I guess people celebrate a lot over there. So what's a form of celebrating? Let's just, for us, it's like party hats and
Music,
music.
lots of music, especially with this group. Poetry, love languages.
What does that mean?
Well, that's funny. Hold on. She just showed me like visiting visiting this dimension like they're doing right now. Um, we also celebrate helping you earthlings.
Okay, so almost like at a party, you might have a
Like,
gypsy.
what are you gonna do? Like, let's go
Might have a
play.
gypsy show up at the party, or a circus, or
Oh,
a jumpy.
no, a treasure hunt but like intermingling here with Earth, like that kind of thing. That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. And you say music, so give us an idea of who might be playing at your birthday tomorrow. Let's say, I guess tomorrow doesn't really relate because they're celebrating now, but who might be a musician that you might hear from tomorrow? Or a poet?
Crosby, Nash, something like that. What
David
is it?
Crosby. All right, very good. She was friends with David. Introduced me to him.
His anger issues have subsided, she says.
His anger has subsided. Well, that's good. We like that. Actually, it's funny you'd mention him because last night we watched a concert that he gave with the Santa Monica Orchestra, like in 2011, and they just sat on the footage for all these years. And when he passed, they finally put it online, and my wife Sherry said, "You got to see this," and it was really beautiful. We listened to it was like 6 songs,
Oh, that's
and we
really good.
talked about him.
That's why she mentioned it.
I would just say, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
What would be a song that he might play? Would he play something from his repertoire or something new?
I don't know. I just heard the song yesterday, but I know that's not from him. I know that's from.
It's allowed. It's allowed. He can play whatever he wants.
Right. But
Maybe he's talking about seeing it yesterday. I don't know.
no, no, I'm hearing the song yesterday.
Oh, okay, that's a great song.
That's the Beatles, right?
Yeah. And would he? Let's ask David. Would he sing that song a cappella or?
John won't let him. He just put him on the guitar.
No, but
John,
I'm sure John doesn't care. But still, would he sing it a cappella? Would other people chime in? Or would it just be him singing it solo?
oh, they're just like something nostalgic. They have nostalgia too over there.
Very interesting to hear. So it's not all modern, new age, electronic, whatever.
They're like millennial bullshit. No.
But that idea of hearing him sing would be really, well, what can I say, poetic.
Um,
Yeah, that's lovely.
I keep asking. I just love hearing that. I'm like, so how else do you guys celebrate? And she goes, in the love that you give us.
So
We
sending
celebrate.
love.
It's like that's like sending balloons to us. The love that we give them, we're able to it amplifies. And they showed me that movie Coco. If you asked me about a movie with little ghosts that their memories, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even be able to say it, but they're like Coco, maybe Coco.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And the movie really is about that, about celebrating someone. Now,
And the musicians and the dad, like
it's right. The music, but there's another aspect to Coco, and I want to ask you, Luana, is this accurate? But the idea that if all the people on the planet who remember you are no longer on the planet, does that mean that you become less of anything, or is that just, people forgot to talk about you? Do you know what I mean? Like you're always alive if somebody on Earth knew you. But when all the people who are on Earth don't know you,
No, it can't. No, you're alive if the people over there and here.
oh, there you go. Okay, well that answers the question. Yeah.
They're
So,
already they're already by the time that happens, they're saying that they're already on to their next life. No pun intended.
so because I can, let me ask you, Lou, was there any point in your lifetime where you were aware of your higher self back home? Like an incident or an event, or just partially all the time?
Okay, ask that question again. I'm sorry.
So I'm thinking about Luana. She used to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. That was her religion and her passion, and it healed her.
She can go right back into it again.
So she can go right back into it. But my question is, while you were chanting, was there ever a moment when you became aware of the flip side, or aware of your higher self back home, which is what
All
people
the time.
all the time? So
All the time.
so chanting, we've heard this often from people,
Vibration. It's a vibration that gets sent out.
helps bypass the filters in a way.
Yes, because it's doing just like me doodling, or your conscious mind is being taken care of by chanting. So you're quieting your mind in order, but not thinking about it. So you're allowed to have things come in.
So it's a little bit like what Jennifer's doing, just naturally. It's like the filters sort of fall away when we have this kind of conversation, and you just answer whatever comes into your mind. You're just not listening to the filters. Whereas everybody else is constantly blocking, I don't believe that, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
So what's a way, Luana? I know you've talked about it before, but what's a way to help people access their loved ones on the flip side?
By sending them love on the flip side and then asking them if they could feel it.
And would they ask for a nod or a shake of the head or a shrug, or should they visualize them?
So you can, yeah. So put your intention that hold on. I'm just going to do it real fast to see if my dad, hold on.
Hi, Jim.
I just heard him say, I love you too, Jennifer June. I
So,
was about to call Jennifer June. That's her middle name.
so in other words, you sent out a message to your dad, asked him, what did you ask him?
I just said, Dad, can you feel my love? And that's when he said,
I love you too, Jennifer June. And so the answer comes before you can think it.
correct. I wouldn't have thought.
And so that's how you verify, or you allow that it's possible that they still exist. When you hear that answer
Mhm.
from someone on the flip side, I know Tim Bear is somebody who's done a session with you. He's also on the Quora forum.
He's also my next client.
Oh, well, how about that? Isn't that a little unusual that he popped into my head just before you were about to talk to him?
That's really weird.
Not weird at all in our world.
And I don't mention, I don't talk to you like
I've never mentioned anybody on the forum.
You said
their
Tim.
name anyway. I never mentioned their name. But Tim has an ongoing conversation with his wife on the flip side. I'm sorry that you aren't going to record that and film it, because his conversations are so deep, so interesting. And what he's had conversations with you was just mind bending. So anyway, he did pop into my head because he's up next. Now, is Luana going to help with that, or is that just his own thing?
I think it's a accumulation of today. Like so I get asked questions a lot, and I've done a lot of events, as you know, and I just did one where, like, on Monday night, I read 22 people at Uncorked.
Wow.
It was sold out. On Tuesday night, I read, I don't know, possibly 32 people, I think, 32 people, where they put their names in a jar, and then someone else pulled out the name. And then it was fascinating. It was amazing. And the reason why I'm telling you this is I always try to give a little bit of insight. And part of it, like, if you just stay with me, Richard.
I'm with you.
when you like want to work, like if you want to, a fit body, you go and work out. If you want to strengthen your intuition, you can strengthen your intuition. It's a muscle. You can do it. Like, I don't ever turn this off, but I don't go around reading everyone. I believe it because Tim's next, he's getting ready for our session. His wife is over there. She's also been like, the fact that you said his name, because I don't,
You don't tell me who your clients are. I would never have known that in a million years.
in a million years. And it truly is his name. Like, I want to see if I can just show you guys.
So Tim is somebody who reached out to me on Quora, and then he asked me about Jennifer, and I said, definitely get a chance. I might have to edit out that because his phone number's on there, but
That's all right.
It's a call. It's from somebody who wants to talk to him. Anyways, but listen, it's a little bit unusual because he was having these great conversations with his wife. And he explained how for about a year or so, he didn't, he was really trying and nothing. And then he said one day he was walking on the beach, their favorite beach, and he felt her hand on his shoulder. And then he felt her voice right in his head. And then she just started downloading information. She had been with him all those times he tried, but he couldn't knock the filters down far enough to hear her. So what Jennifer's saying is so apt, and it's so important to hear. Here we are talking to my friend Luana, who passed away in 1996. We're talking more to her and more directly to her than when she was here. And the idea is that how is that possible? She still exists, and we're allowing the filters to sort of drift past ourselves and just focus on love, on unconditional love, on who that person was, and how they influenced you on the planet. It's anybody can do it, and that's the point. That's the reason Jennifer and I do this podcast, really, to show people.
We want people, like, believe me, I would love to be out of a job as much as I love my work, but I don't know if that's going to happen in my lifetime. But I tell people, like, you have access to your loved ones. It takes time sometimes after they've passed because you're grieving. And so that's challenging, right? But one of the things I love about Tim, and his wife is that when she was passing, they tried to talk to each other about the afterlife. What does your afterlife look like? What is it going to look like if you are leaving the planet? I ask my dad all the time for help, and I just trust that he is helping, and that was such a great thing. Like, I was seriously crying writing that. Can you please get a donut for my daughter, to her roommate? Trying to do everything sneaky to surprise my daughter. And hearing that okay, that's why they're bringing it up. My daughter can feel my love. The people that are here can feel your love. So I need to make sure that I'm sending her, love dumping her all day tomorrow. She can feel that. You can do that with people that are still here. You don't have to be with them. That was so sweet. Thank you, Dad. Just like our loved ones from on the other side, you can send them lots of love. Now, in my case, she'll call me, like, she can feel, we always figure out who's going to call each other, who's going to call who first. Like, did you know that, Tim? Or was Tim thinking of you at that time? Like, who thinks of who first?
Yeah.
But
no, and I live in a house where this is a topic of conversation, not all the time because they don't want to hear me talk about it, but everybody in the house is now at least open to the idea that they hear messages from people on the other side. Yeah. Sherry shared something that she heard this morning from somebody who was saying, you're not omniscient when you get home. I mean, you know a lot more, but you don't know everything, but you have an experience. You are aware of all your previous journeys, and you're kind of aware of why you were on the planet, but you're also aware of what you miss about being on the planet, how you can't, tactile sensations. Mm-hmm. But the idea that to learn that from somebody no longer on the planet, it's a fascinating topic because it helps you.
And they're like, we're still learning how to communicate to you guys.
Yeah. And who would have thought that
they're actually showing me like weather patterns, like the earth is changing. Like, there's things that hold on. they learn how to find, okay, thank you. They learn how to find the best ways to communicate with us. Like being in my office, I feel my dad. Sometimes when I'm elsewhere, I might not feel him as much. So
Right.
it's always good to have your own little space. Like the energy that's built up in my office, I'm so grateful and so lucky. I forced myself to come here today, but all my clients are virtual. But I know that it's such a great space and I need to utilize it more. You know what I mean? But
Well,
that could be
can we ask Luana about that? Is that accurate? What would you give advice? Should
yes.
people?
So that's why they said temples, like Buddhist temples, like when people go to church, like the energy, you can feel the energy. There is something there of people, multitudes of people constantly doing that.
And you can make a little church in for yourself within your home, whether it's a little in your garden or whether it's out by a river or a bench. Make
Mhm.
that your place.
They're showing me a car. Like a lot of people are, are quiet in the car. Like
That's
you can
true,
connect
but not while driving.
you can talk to people. You can talk to them. You just don't.
Oh,
Just don't.
that's true. No, no, I know what you're saying. I know. All right. Well, I don't want to take up Tim's session, even though isn't that funny? How
Big
weird.
shout out to Tim.
Big shout out. I've never met the guy, so we send him our best. And I think it's really funny that his wife showed up to have her. So, Luana, let's put this back in your lap. Any final words on your birthday? We're celebrating your birthday today.
Oh, she just gave you a little kiss on the cheek and said, "Thanks for loving me."
Well, thanks for your love, Luana Anders. You can look her up at luanaanders.com. 300 TV shows and movies. An amazing, prolific person who still is prolific and
I just
still.
told her, I said, "Thank you for being like my mentor," and she's like, "Well, right back at you."
Really cool. How weird that we met each other, and how weird that Luana orchestrated that, and how weird that we're having this conversation.
And that we can do it every week, like we still try to do this every single week.
It's unbelievable. And it's almost like we're outside of time. That's what I feel like. Because I've had a weird week, and then I come to this moment and there's nothing weird about it at all. To me, it's completely normal. We're having a conversation with somebody on the flip side. What's the big deal? All right, everybody. We love you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Thank you, Luana. Thanks, Charles Grodin, for stopping by to say hi. Thanks, David Crosby. I know you'd like to say a few more things, but still, thank you for stopping by, and thank you for lending your voice to Jennifer's ears. Yesterday, all your troubles seemed so far away. All right, very good. We love you, Jennifer.
Love you too, Richard.
Bye. This has been Hacking the Afterlife podcast with Jennifer Schaefer. For more information, jenniferschaefer.com, martinizone.com, or richmartini.com. Hacking the Afterlife documentary is available on Gaia.com via Amazon Prime.